Yes. Yo, Counter Attack podcast. With myself, Daps. Quarantine still going, which means the content keeps going more frequent. I don't know, whichever the correct English term is. But yeah, hope you guys are liking what I'm putting out. Lamin and Spence are gonna come back, I think the next one or the one after. To be honest, it's my fault. I keep doing these last minute and, they've got stuff to do with kids and whatnot. So, yeah. So keep liking, subscribing, sharing. Today, we've got a player who was a mainstay on our screens for a very long time. You might remember him from stints at QPR and Reading, and Sheffield United, and Palace, to be fair. Palace? He was at Palace. I'm pretty sure it was at Palace. But today we've got Mikel Leigertwood. Leigertwood? I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I will ask him, but we've got him. Let me bring him in now. And then we can just ask him ourselves. Yes, Mikel. What's going on?
What's happening? Cool?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. We're good.
Oh, that's good.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. No, I can definitely hear you all right, man. How you doing, man?
I'm very well. Oh. Coping in such difficult times, but yeah, we're good.
Are you keeping busy?
I've been working out quite a bit. Playing football in the garden with the kids, helping them with their homework, just everything. Cooking, I like cooking, so I've been doing a bit of.
I've been doing the most amount of cooking. Never cooked so much in my life, man. Well, it's mad. Yeah. How do you actually pronounce your surname?
Leigertwood,
not Leigert, not
Leigert, not Leigert.
Yeah, not like
Leigertwood.
Where's the name from?
So my parents are both from the Caribbean. My dad, that's where my name's from, is from St. Vincent.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that's where the origin is.
I guess it's somewhere there, yeah. Okay, cool. But thanks for doing this. And today we're literally just going to have a chat about your career and everything, and just how you got into the game, what you've been keeping up with since you come out, and we're just going to have a good old chat. So where do we start, man? Where did it start for me? You're from North London originally, right?
From North London, yeah. So I grew up in Hornsey, Crouch End, and then moved to Edmonton, sort of my GCSE year.
Yeah.
So 15 going on 16, and then before that, obviously started playing grassroots football with Haringey Borough. So when I was in Hornsey, Crouch End, used to play.
That's where I'm at now. Imagine that.
Yeah. Fully aware.
Yeah.
Little bit different to when I was there. Obviously, we never used to play at the stadium pitch. That was like, once in a while. We used to train play at Selby Centre. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the pitch before, like where we're at now, before the 4G got thing, was horrendous. Absolutely. Yeah, but I don't remember the actual old stadium. So
so we used to play there. Like, when some teams play at the stadium once at the end of the season.
Yeah.
That's what we did. So that was like, we're playing at the stadium. Great.
Yeah. Were they part-time them times as well? Like, were they still at the level they were coming down right now?
To be honest, I'm not sure. Sure what the situation was. Obviously, we used to play, train at New River, or just across the road.
Oh yeah, shout out New River,
There's a part there, yeah. So yeah, it was good times.
It's crazy how many people, even to this day, like, come from New River.
It's mad.
To this day, man. It's such a hotspot for talent. Is that how you basically got picked up then?
Yeah, so I was playing for Haringey Borough, and then I got scouted by Wimbledon. There was quite a few Wimbledon scouts from sort of East London, North London, and my coach.
Is this old school Wimbledon?
Yeah, old school.
Yeah. Okay.
Proper Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So and then there was a few of us from North London, that got scouted for Wimbledon. So Joby McAnuff was one, Lyman Morgan,
Okay.
Kola, Samuel Okiolu, Anto Busu. There was, and Sam Sloma. There was quite a heavy North London
So
set.
How old were you when that happened then?
I was 13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then what age did you make your senior?
I made my debut at 18.
Okay, so I know what it's like now, but like back then, what was it like for those initial like 5 years in the youth team? Is it pretty much standard how it is now, or you know?
I wouldn't say it was standard how it is now. No, so yeah, obviously, you know, being a schoolboy, it was different. We only trained once a week, so we used to train in East London at Kelmscott. It was only sort of as I got to year 10 or year 11 that we started to train twice a week.
Yeah,
and that was very much it. It was 2-3 hours maximum training sessions a week, and we used to play on a Sunday. Obviously traveling up and down, you know, the south, and it was a good experience. You know, we wasn't blessed with, you know, my mum didn't drive, or she wasn't comfortable driving on the motorway, so it was, you know, getting lifts wherever you could. It was getting the train. It was, you know, and
by any means necessary. You just got to get there.
It was necessary, you know. We had to do it, and because we wanted to do it.
So I did go. Oh,
certainly, the youth team experience was a little bit different.
But it probably shaped you and molded you to become the player you were.
Yeah, of course. I look back at my Wimbledon days, and you know, a lot of my good friends now are still from that era in my life. And again, the peer pressure that we had was good peer pressure.
Yeah,
everyone wanted to, you know, get better and play and make something of themselves.
Yeah. So how did the Crystal Palace move come about? Was that something that you kind of manufactured yourself, or?
No, not even. It was Wimbledon wasn't in a great financial situation at the time, so we made the move to Milton Keynes. So we played up there for a season.
Yeah.
And they were just struggling basically for money. And at the time, Wimbledon was just, you know, just a cattle market.
Yeah.
The best players were getting snapped up, and Crystal Palace were on the up. It was an opportunity to go. There was no really other real opportunities for me. In terms of Wimbledon were going to go down, that was it. So if I wanted to stay in at a higher level and increase my worth and increase my value, and you know, it was something that I had to do. And Crystal Palace were on the up.
Yeah.
Who was manager then?
Was that Dowie?
Was Ian Dowie?
Yeah.
Dowie, yeah. So,
what was he like?
He was all right. He was good. He was intense. Great knowledge. Would just, you know, worked hard, but a fantastic coach.
Yeah.
Like, he was actually a very good technician in terms of, you know, you look back at his playing days and he doesn't really suggest that, but he was very good when he got out on the training pitch. So he was good.
Yeah. And you were there for like, what, 2 years? I'm trying to do this all off head, by the way. If I get anything wrong, then just let me know.
Yeah, no, I was there 2.5 years. So the year I joined, we got promoted. And I, obviously played in the Premier League. So that was my first year in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And then got relegated. And then I stayed there for another season. And my contract was running out. I was offered a new one. And then that contract got rescinded.
How come?
Then a bit of Simon Jordan was the owner. Chairman. Yeah. So at the time, Dowie had left and agreed to go elsewhere. And I had agreed the contract with Dowie. who was obviously still the manager at the time, and
You see,
Dowie left.
you see with like Simon Jordan now, he's got like this bit of a rep. You know, he does his stuff with Talksport, and he's got a bit of a rep, and you know, he says things which might rub people up the wrong way sometimes. Is that just him, without, you know, throwing him under the bus or anything? Is that just him in general, or?
Yeah, I think so. He certainly has this thing about him where he doesn't need to answer to anyone. Or he doesn't feel no way because whether it's because he's wealthy, I don't know, but he seems to have this perception of some footballers that they're just in it for the money and they're not good value. So, I mean, again, I was offered a contract. It was taken away, and then I had to be offered a new contract by a certain time, or I could have gone on free. The new contract I was given was substantially lower than what I'd already agreed. So I'd made up my mind to go, no, I'm not going to sign, I'm going to leave. Peter Taylor came in as a manager, wanted to keep me, managed to get my wages back up to what I had already agreed initially. I was just like, I can't work with that, sorry.
Yeah. What's it like, you know, at like your relationship with the chairman? You know, when you got a chairman who is hands-on, you know, do you actually prefer that? Because obviously that's the owner, or do you prefer that, look, you just take a back seat and lead the football to managers and football?
I think I've been in a situation where owners are very hands-on. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, they're well within their rights because it's their club at the end of the day. So I think it works better when you have a owner who has a manager that he can trust and allow to do what he needs. But you know,
me personally, I don't like it when the owners be, you know, trying to. I don't know. I just don't like. I remember we had an owner used to come into the change room and give team talks.
Oh yeah, I've had all that.
Coming, and you're just looking at him thinking, what the heck? And the manager will never speak up against him because that's his job. Like, but just stay out of it, man. Just stay out of it. But did you find that you couldn't really, you know, because the football culture doesn't really allow for certain players to really speak out and speak up against, you know, managers or chairmen? Did you find that was the case, or did you just not care enough to?
Yeah, it would. I mean, again, I was at QPR where it was a different situation where the owners were heavily involved. They came from a background of Formula One racing where the owners...
This is when they had all that money, right?
Yeah. So I've worked under Flavio Briatore and Annie.
Yeah, that was his name.
Bernie Eccleston, sorry. And Bernie never got involved, but Flavio did. And he wanted to get involved and team selections and all sorts. And some managers could deal with it and some managers couldn't.
Was he wanting to pick you though?
Yeah, I mean, we got on well.
I bet you liked him then, didn't it?
Of course. I was his first signing of that era. So, I think we had quite a good relationship. But again, it did have an effect. You know, when the managers are changing every so often, you know, you can't get any continuity or any consistency, and it does start to have an effect on the team. And as a result, we probably didn't perform as well as we should have done. Yeah.
I remember that QPR team. That's Adel Taraabt was part of that team, right?
Yes, I played with Adel.
Yeah.
Rowan Vine, Fitzhall, Patrick Adjaman.
Hoylett was there, right?
No, so he came after me. So
he came after. Okay. Was Clint Hill there?
I played with Clint Hill for a little bit. Sean Derry was there for a little bit when I was there. So actually, when Clint Hill and Sean Derry came in, at Jamie Mackey, that was the season they got promoted.
Yeah. What was that team like for you? Because obviously, you know, the money was there, and you know, the players were coming in, and there was mad talented players on that team. Was the instant goal just to get promotion and just to keep going, keep rising higher?
Yeah, I mean, I actually left by that point. So the year they got promoted, I had gone by November. I wasn't actually in the team. I wasn't playing. So I thought to myself, you know, I knew they were going to get promoted. You can just sense it from the start of the season. Neil Warnock came in as manager the previous season, had the summer to bring in who he wanted, and during all the pre-season games, I was heavily involved. And then I thought, yeah, there's a real good feeling about this. We're going to get promoted, no problem. And I found I wasn't playing, so I was just like, no problem. I'll just sit. I'll wait. I'll get my chance. I know it will come. And it was getting to October, and I was just like, this is long. Can't doing this. So,
what's the thinking behind that with someone like Neil Warnock? Is it a thing of like a conversation and he's open and honest and, you know, says, you know what, I don't think you're really going to play or whatever, or is it a thing of, you know, you can't really chat to him?
No, he was actually very open and honest. And to this day, people always do ask me what was he like. And yes, for all of his faults, he had a lot of good attributes. And one of his things was being honest. As brutal as it may be, that's what you need. That's what you require. So he said to me, you're not going to play as much. I was like, fine, well, I'll just sit and wait. He wanted me to try and go, and I was just like, not really on it. But then I was getting frustrated, and I needed to go. I needed to go and play, and I had a few options, and then I chose Reading. Yeah.
Who from that era of apart from Adel? In fact, no. Let's speak on Adel. What was he like? Because now he plays in like a centre midfield role, like DM, and he's doing very well. Was it frustrating for you because you knew what he could do for you to see him not really fulfill that in England?
Yeah, I mean, when he first came in, we actually got on really well, myself and Adel, and we had. He was just obviously he was quite young, but he was talented, without a shadow of a doubt, and should have gone on to bigger and better things. Why he didn't, only he'll be able to tell you.
So it's not something that like sticks out, like, you know, where you could be like, that's the reason, or it's just something with him.
You can put it down to anything: attitude, application. It certainly wasn't talent.
No, definitely not.
Because he had that in abundance, and you go on YouTube and you can see him up there with probably one of the most watched players. Outside the real elite. But yeah, he was great, and he did have some. Maybe he wasn't socially great.
Yeah,
what I'd put it down to. He just wanted to do what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it. But you have to deal with people differently, and I think Warnock certainly learned to get the best out of him. I had to try and speak to him a few times. I remember us playing against West Brom away, and it was a tough game. West Brom were top of the league, and you knew if you didn't have Adel on side, then you were going to get pummeled.
Yeah.
He was playing just in front of me as a number 10 or a cam, whatever you call it nowadays, and he was instrumental. And it was more of his off the ball work which stood out. But obviously, you can see what he does bring when he's got the ball. A real talent.
Yeah, no, because for me, I always say he's one of the most talented players I've seen. Is there a piece of skill or something you remember him doing that just sticks out in your mind where you're like, no, he's actually taking the beat? In fact, did you ever see the nutmeg he did for Tottenham? And then when he did it, Gardner has gone like that, his own teammate.
I think so, yeah.
Like, did you ever see him do stuff during the match?
There was a one he did on Joe Allen, and then he scored. I don't know if you've seen it.
Is that when he cuts in from the left.
Yeah, so he rolls it, drags it, and flicks it through. And
I
then he
think I watched
goes and
it.
scores as well after. Like Joe Allen just gives up. And
Mm,
so he used to do that to people who train him on a regular basis. Like
yeah.
it wasn't nothing new for us. But to see him then produce that and provide an end product, like it's great. Like you had players trying to nutmeg people all the time, but what are you providing after? It's great.
Yeah.
It looks great. Well done. You get an applause from the fans, but what can you go and produce after?
Would you say QPR was your best time in your career?
No.
It's where you made your most appearances. Oh, Reading, actually. Is that what you're going to say? Yeah. I was thinking, actually. Yeah, probably Reading. How long were you at Reading for? Was it 2-3 years?
So I joined 2010 on loan initially from QPR, and then finished playing there 2014.
You apart from Sheffield United. Apart from Sheffield United, most of your teams were in and around London. Was that a conscious thing you chose to do?
Not really. It was just how it worked out. Again, I did have options to go and play. So before I joined Reading, I had the option to go to Leeds and Preston. But yeah, I'd done the whole living out of London thing.
Yeah.
So I guess it was a conscious effort. Sort of later on, earlier on, I wasn't fussed. I would have gone anywhere.
Yeah. We're going to come back to Reading, but one thing I did want to ask is, obviously you grew up in North London. At what point was it where you actually moved away from North London? Was it straight away with Wimbledon?
No. So we stayed at home and commuted to South London every day. So that was 2 trains, a bus. So we were leaving at ridiculous time in the morning to go to work, and then getting back at 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
6 o'clock sometimes, and then having to do it all over again. So I stayed, even when I moved to Crystal Palace, I stayed in North London. Used to drive through the Blackwall Tunnel around the M25.
Yeah.
Every day. It was horrible.
How difficult is it? The reason why I ask this is because how difficult is it to come from where you're coming from in regards to just life in general, and still, have the discipline and attitude to play at the top and stay, focused to play there?
It can be tough. It can be tough, certainly if you are easily swayed or easily led to other things, because as you know, there are other things that can take precedent over what you want to do. But I guess if you are that focused and you want to get better and stay at the top, you have to remain disciplined. You have to not follow the crowd, if you like. Like, there was loads of things that I missed out on.
Yeah, and that's
equally there was loads of things that I did, and I wouldn't change. So
I think that's the thing that people don't realize. For you to get to where you got to, like, you have to sacrifice a lot. Do you know what I mean? And people probably just think that, he's got it good, he's playing football, but at the same time, you worked hard to get there.
Yeah, I mean, there was loads of things you miss out on. Like, you miss out on birthdays, weddings, and those things, although they might seem minor, like
those are real life moments, man.
Yeah, of course.
And you're having to just miss out on them. Okay, so Reading comes now, and it's not the same as the QPR with all the money and the owner, and the owner wasn't heavily involved like that at Reading, was he?
John Majewski, not really. He was one that liked to come in the change room and wish us well. But that was it. Like, it was all light-hearted, and he built the ground. He built the club from the ground up. So it wasn't that he was just buying into it and he bought it and then just wanted to show off.
Yeah.
He actually had an emotional investment in the club.
So what was it about Reading that, made it so enjoyable for you? Was it the fact that, there were some players that you knew from before, or it's just the vibe in general of Reading?
So yeah, obviously my good friend Joe McAnuff, like I mentioned before, he was there already. So obviously I knew quite a bit about it. I had met a few of the boys there, Jem Carrichan, another one midfield player, on a few nights out with Joby. So we got on quite well. So yeah, and obviously it wasn't too far. So
how long was that commute down to Reading? About what, an hour and a half?
From where I was living, it was about an hour and a half. Hour and a half. So still a fair distance, and I do look back and go, I actually moved up because as you get older, your body starts to takes a toll on you, and actually sitting an hour and a half in the car before training isn't ideal. So
what at what point? Because you mentioned like your body and everything. Can you remember a time when you was thinking to yourself like, "Rah, I don't know if I can do this anymore"?
Never. Up until I had my injury, which actually finished me, I never got to a point and I thought, "Wow, I can't ever do this."
Yeah. What injury was it?
A hip injury.
Oh, a hip injury.
So it was just a one-off incident. I was actually playing for Nottingham Forest. I was on trial at the time after I left Reading, and that saw me off.
Wow. I just thought you just retired.
Well, I tried to get back. I tried to get back, but it was too much. It was just the hit was never the same.
What's it like though? Like you've played all of these games in your career, so over 300 games in your career, and you played at the top Premier League, Championship. To have to go on trial, in your like mentally, are you thinking to yourself, "What am I going on trial for?" But you do it anyway.
Yeah. There's that. And again, there are players that in a position like that. I mean, my situation was slightly different because I was actually injured for most of the season before. So it was almost I had to go and prove myself that I was fit enough and also still good enough. I knew I was good enough. I just had to go and prove that I was fit enough. And actually, I was doing quite well up until the point where I got injured. So,
do you think you would have signed if not for the?
I was gonna, So Stuart Pearce was the manager at the time, and he was going to offer me a contract. He was quite happy for me to wait to see how the injury healed, and then we could have another conversation. But obviously, it didn't. So,
what would you say like the Reading as a football club were like to you anyway?
Very good, very good. Everyone was really, I'd say, connected. I say staff, fans alike, and backroom staff. It was a real good atmosphere around, not just a training ground, but around the stadium.
Yeah.
And this is everyone, from the groundsman to the coaching staff to the youth team staff to the school players. Like it was a real good place to come in and work.
Yeah. Was it before or no? It couldn't have been before. Was it after you left where that match with Arsenal, the 7-5? Was that after you?
I played in that.
Yeah, you played in that. Oh, okay, great stuff.
Oh yeah, that was during my time.
Yeah. What was that like? Right? I remember watching that. Stressed. Who do you actually support? Arsenal.
I'm an Arsenal fan. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. What was it like playing against them? Number one. Obviously, you probably played against them a couple of times though. But...
Yeah, I played against them at Highbury. Goes to show how old I am.
Proper stadium.
I played at Highbury and we got battered. Played against them a couple of times at Selhurst and see the Emirates as well.
Yeah.
And then we had the 7-5, which again, yeah. I always get asked about this. I don't like talking about it, but it was a game where you go in, you're 4-0 up, cruising.
Oh, stress.
Shouldn't lose.
Yeah.
They get one goal just before half time, and yeah, we were a bit nervous to say the least. I think it was just
yeah.
And then they just turned it around. They must have got a rollicking at half time.
What was it? Oh, do you think that's what it was? That goal before half time, or the half time talk? It just that just killed it. And then I can imagine when you guys literally on the pitch, are you looking to yourself after that second goal goes in? Are you looking to yourself thinking, "Oh, this might get on top for us," you know? Even though, to be honest, you're winning, however much. So
they had it wasn't their strongest team, but they're Arsenal. They've got talent.
So. Who played that match? Walcott, Bentner. That's what I remember.
It was Walcott, Shamak.
Shamak was there. Yeah. Was Arshavin playing?
I can't remember. I don't think so. I think he might have left by then. You're testing me here.
Yeah, no, I remember watching that match. Just stressed, man. And when you're on the pitch, after the first couple times you play Arsenal, does the whole sentiment go, and it's just literally another game for you?
It is just another game. I want to win it just as much as I do against anyone else. So when you walk out and you're seeing people like Henry and Vieira, and you're like you have a little bit of a gulp, but again,
look at them.
You just got to go and do what you can do.
When you're playing like those teams, was it almost as if, because people used to say they knew from the tunnel that they were going to get beat. Like when you're in the tunnel, without actually saying we're going to get beat, because obviously you want to go out and win the game, is there a thing of like, oh, this is looking a bit scary here?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gone into a game thinking we're going to get beat. I've definitely gone into games thinking I don't want to lose. Or I can't lose. I've never gone in expecting to lose. But,
because I've heard stories of people like, and not just the Arsenal, like people used to go up against the United teams, and Roy Keane even said one time that he knew teams were defeated straight from the tunnel.
Yeah.
Like, what was Vieira like playing against?
He was actually, he was good, man. He was, the first time I played against him at Highbury, he was different level.
Yeah, Highbury Vieira is stupid.
I played against him. I played against him at Selhurst, and I've actually got a photo of me kicking him. I kicked him in the back of his calf.
Oh, naughty.
And I thought, I don't know. There's something that's in me. Is like he was running the game, and I was just like,
Would you say he's the best midfielder you played against? Because you played against a good number of midfielders, man.
Yeah, in terms of probably what he's achieved and what he's done, he's certainly up there. Obviously, I've played against obviously Roy Keane and Steven Gerrard, and those are top midfield players. I was watching your Insta live with Bradley, and he talks about Silva and Cazorla.
Yeah.
Cazorla for me was, again, being at the Emirates, you couldn't get near him.
Yeah, listen, you see, of this modern day, the last 10 years, I would say, Cazorla's my favourite Arsenal player. Like, and I'm an Arsenal man. But Cazorla for me is just different. So to hear people like you come and say, you couldn't get near him, and it just pleases me so much, man.
Yeah, he was.
I still have him now because he's the sort of player where he plays up there.
Oh yeah,
he plays up there. Oh, listen,
he was doing things on his right foot and then do exactly the same thing on his left foot. And I'm thinking, you're actually taking the mick out of me.
I remember one time, I forgot who we were playing. He took a corner. Like in swinger, yeah, an in swinger. He's gone to the other side, like they've headed it out. He's gone to the other side to take it. Done the exact same thing on the other foot. Do you know what I mean? I've seen him as well go to take an outswing of his right foot, and then Koscielny is screaming at him from the box, and he's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" Koscielny is screaming at him to do an in swinger. So he's like, "Okay, cool." So he just flips. He's just crazy, man. What would you say though is that were like your best attribute as a player was? Because I remember watching you thinking, this guy just does not stop. Like always getting stuck in, and you can play. I think people downplay your ability a bit much, to be honest. I think over the years you were known for but you can play.
Yeah, I was. Again, I probably didn't display as much as my technical ability on a consistent basis as I should have done. Certainly, I would not give up. Whatever moment of the game, I'd look tired and need a breather, but it wasn't due to the fact that I'm giving up, and that's what I'd say was probably one of my main attributes. I was strong. I was quick enough. I wasn't blistering quick, but I wouldn't really get lost by anyone.
Yeah.
Unless you're Henri, of course. Then it's different. Right.
Got a name for a flipping up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd say probably my strength and my ability not to give up. I think. I was quite aggressive. I wanted to.
Quite aggressive. I know, bro.
You needed to know that I was there.
Yeah, I think players knew, mate. Bloody hell. I remember one game, I think like first 10 minutes, you just clattered someone. And I was thinking, what's this guy on? And then that player didn't play the same. Who was it? For the rest of the game, he was missing. I don't know. I'll find it. You know, I'm gonna find it. I'm definitely gonna find out. But what was it like? That decision because I always like to get into like the psyche and the mind, like that decision where you're like, you know what, this is it. I'm not going to be able to play again. You know, you had your hip injury. Was it a thing where the doctors were like, you're not going to play again, or you just knew your body and you just felt like, you know what, I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, so it was a difficult time and then quite an unsettling time, to be honest. Again, it was almost like it wasn't on my own terms.
Yeah.
So to come to terms with it was difficult, and I got to a point where obviously I spoke to the surgeon, and he was like, you know, have you got plans for after football? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not ready to press the button.
I'm not ready, yeah.
So he was just like, okay, we'll go away and try and treat it conservatively. So which meant no operation or anything like that. Just do your rehab. That wasn't working. So I had the operation, which then kept me out for another 4 months. So I'm now missing out of the game. So bearing in mind I had an injury which kept me out for most of the season before. And I'm going to have another injury that's going to keep me out for another season.
Yeah.
Which I was 32. So I've missed 2 years of football already at the age of 32. So I'm looking at it. Am I going to be able to get into a place and really go and show what I can do and be fit enough? And then obviously speaking to the surgeon, he was just like, you know, you're probably not going to last that long even if you do make it back. So, the decision was...
So it was
a difficult one, but it was an easy one.
Oh, okay, it was an easy one. I was going to say, so it wasn't a thing where if you'd given it maybe six more months, it probably would have got better. Or
I probably could have got through games, but then it would have just been a situation where I'm managing myself through games, and probably not at a great level. basically.
What was the actual injury?
So I just landed awkwardly on my hip, and I ended up basically cracking a bit of the rim of the hip bone of the hip joint, tore all the ligaments, and actually there was, I didn't have any hip injuries prior to that. Yeah. But when you go in there and you see a 30-year-old hip, certainly
I was going to say,
you probably see loads of wear and tear, and that was just.
I was going to say, if that was 21-year-old you, would that have been, career threatening?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
That's crazy, man. But you give your life to that sport, and do you still feel like now that you've retired, it's been a couple of years, do you still feel like aches or whatever from playing years of football?
Yeah. Listen, my body's mash up. I can still, like, I needed to get to a point where, it was, if you carried on playing, there'd be a situation where I might be in that I might not be able to run around in the garden with my kids. So you got to think long term. I might not be able to, I wanted to go into coaching or management. I won't be able to do the bits I needed to do on the pitch in that way. So again, you have to think probably, longer term rather than short term. As much as I love football and I love playing, I still do a little bit to this day, but obviously it's not going to be at the level which I needed to be at. So
yeah,
I'd wake up, my hip, I can't move, my ankle is stiff.
Man. You played for Antigua, and I rate that so much, because a lot of players who are born and raised here, you were born here, right?
Yeah, I was born here.
Yeah. So a lot of players who are born and raised here, if they don't play for England, then they kind of just forget about their, that they can play international football for, other countries. Obviously, the setup wasn't like England. That goes without saying. It's not like England. But did you enjoy your time playing for them?
Yeah, I did. I did. I loved the experiences that I got from playing. Again, like you say, the setups, and sometimes the organisation was a little bit frustrating. But myself, Justin Cochran, who played there before me, who actually got me on board, Dexter Blackstock, Marvin McCoy, Josh Parker, all these guys.
Podcast next week, actually.
Who's that?
Dexter. I think he's coming on the podcast next week.
Brilliant. These are the sorts of guys which, in order to, help the country evolve and get better and compete at a better level, I'm going to be needed to be involved, and I felt we helped them do that at the time. And it was a great experience. I got to go home and I got to go and see my grandparents. I got to take my kids for certain experiences which they probably wouldn't have done if it wasn't through me playing for Antigua. So the only thing it wasn't looked, unless you're playing for Jamaica or Trinidad. Yeah. Over here, it looks like, why are you just going on holiday?
Yeah, that's the thing. But like you said, in order to get to the level of Jamaica and Trinidad, you're going to need people to come before and do the groundwork, basically. Yeah. So I really rate that and I applaud that a lot. I've actually been to Antigua, funny enough.
Have you? Nice.
With Dags. Good old days.
Yeah, man. It's a lovely place. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's up until 2 years ago, it was like one of the best places I've been to. I don't know, I went to St. Lucia, and then I was like,
okay. Yeah. St. Lucia's nice too. Where'd you go in St. Lucia?
I don't know, but I stayed at the Royalton, so I got to see what's those mountains called?
Pitons.
Yes, the Pitons. I went to like the old old part of St. Lucia where the waterfall is and the
Okay,
volcano where I went down there.
2-3.
Yeah, that's it. Bloody, how many times have you been?
I've been a couple of times.
Yeah, and the street party on a Friday is a
Oh yeah, brilliant.
yeah, it's a vibe. So I was meant to actually go back last month, but obviously with all of this going on.
Yeah.
So but we'll see when it opens back up. Then get me. So surprise the missus and that. But life after football now. What's it saying for you?
It's good. So I'm currently under 18s coach at Reading.
Okay. Did you, like, all due respect, did you get to walk into that job because you were a past player who did well?
Kind of, yeah. I had a good relationship with them, so it wasn't that you just get to walk into anyway. I had a good relationship with the club, and that was everyone. And it was a situation where an ex-teammate and friend of mine was there. He was the loan manager at the time, Hayden Mullins, and he was going for a new role at Watford.
The West Ham one, Hayden Mullins. He was at West Ham, right?
Yeah. So he actually came to Reading on loan for a little while.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And he was working for Reading as a loan manager, and I was just doing some part-time coaching and training at the time, and decided, that they offered me a job as the loan manager because he was going out, so there was a spot vacant, and that was where I started my relationship back with the club.
Yeah. Did you always know that after football you were going to go into coaching?
Not really. I wanted to stay in football as long as possible. So that was probably just the next logical step.
Yeah. No, coaching, I don't know how you do it. And then, in fact, you're the perfect person to ask. So the other day and who was it? Not Anton. Who do I have on live there? Bradley.
Yeah.
On live, I asked him about the mentality of younger players and if he's noticed like a shift in the attitude or the application or how bad they want it. You as an under 18s coach, do you notice the difference between this generation and the prior generation?
I think the difference is nowadays is that there's just so many more distractions. So there is a slight shift in terms of what it takes to actually be a footballer, but there's a lot more help and guidance now. Yeah, again, surrounding that. So gone are the days where you're shouting and screaming and players are doing jobs and sort of really working on them to get better in terms of being a better person. There's more support and psychological support and social support around it, but there's certainly a shift. But I think that is more due to the distractions and probably looking about what everyone else is doing rather than people just worrying about themselves.
Yeah, because I look at people where when I was younger and even before me, and football was literally the only thing I had. And I would be practicing football every single day. I'd be going to this sort of training every single day. Whereas, like you said, they've got so many distractions. They've got their social medias. They've got computer games. They've got so many things to do that football really isn't, at the forefront of their minds. And the ones who do keep at the forefront of their minds are probably the ones who go on and excel.
Yes, but and then I do go, are we making excuses? Probably because I look back at it and I go, well, we had computer, we had TV, so, but we weren't so focused on all those things. Yeah, social media is probably the only difference in terms of what other distractions, but I could have sat playing Football Manager rather than actually getting with football.
I sat there playing Football Manager, man.
I was on it for time.
What about the? Do you think the money coming in as well definitely has an impact? Because some of the money that these lot are getting paid now is stupid, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you look at the situation football's in at the moment. You know, the money that they're paying out, and now football clubs are struggling. But again, players are receiving money really before they've earned it, which is, again, if one's doing it and they're threatening, and you want to keep this player or another player, and he's going, well, I can just go and get X, Y, Z somewhere else. Like, it's going to be a tough situation because then you're just going to have to pay it, or you end up losing the player. So there's a lot of player power, even in the younger.
I was going to say, so if let's say you've got a player in your team now, he's doing well, and other teams potentially want him. Is the power with him where he can be like, look, I want this to happen at this club, I want more money, blah, blah, blah? Or is it a thing of like, you just keep playing? Like, is it all with him basically and his agent?
Yeah, it can be.
Even like under 18s?
Yeah, it can be. We're Reading, we're a good club. We're not huge, but we work with what we have, and I think a lot of the players signed there because it was such a well-run club, such a well-run academy. Sometimes when you go to the bigger academies, you can get lost.
Yeah.
But when a big academy club comes calling from Reading, then it's going to sway you. It's going to turn your head. They're going to be offering X, Y, Z, and for us to try and compete is going to be difficult. You have to be really, well valued for us to, stump up the money, basically. So, players and agents certainly have quite a bit of power.
But are you, because you've been a player and obviously you had your own agent, to deal with things, do you also at the same time just know how the game goes and you don't really buy too much into it? Or do you still kind of think, is he taking a piss?
Yeah, I do. And it's different. I try and look at each situation for what it is. So, me, for example, I know that I probably don't warrant as much as what he's getting. But players won't look at that. They'll go, well, right, he's my age. He's played, 25 games in the under-23s and been training with the first team. But I should go and get the same as him.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You get what you're worth, innit? So, but at the same time, I go, well, it is a short career. You need to get what you can get out of it. You might not be in the game in 2 years' time. So,
I don't think a lot of people are honest when it comes to that. I think you should play the game because you love it, but at the same time, you do have to think about the fact that it is a short career. And I think too many times people get, like outed or cussed if they do mention, that, you do want to get rewarded as much as you can as well while you're in it. Of
course. I mean, when you're getting paid, 100 grand a week or 200 grand a week, then it's fine. That there comes a point where you might have a bit too much, but certainly the players in the lower leagues, which people often forget, like they think footballers just earn loads of money throughout their career. That's not the case. You'll do well, to have money at the end of your career, basically. If you've looked after it well enough. If not, earning a grand, 2 grand a week isn't life changing.
Yeah, and what does it do for you where, without speaking too much on your situation, you're getting all this money when you're playing, and then obviously once you stop playing, it goes all the way down. Like, what does that do mentally for you? Like, do you look at it and take a step back and you think, oh, sugar?
It does. Again, if you haven't looked after your finances well enough, then it can have a real effect on you. And I guess that's why a lot of players, after they do finish playing, go into, you know, such deep psychological places, because you're not you're not able to provide as much as you were before. So yeah, there needs to be certainly more education around that, and I know there are things out there. And
I was gonna ask, is within clubs, I know before it wasn't there, but is there anything in clubs now to help with that, you know, support?
So we certainly do with the younger age groups, so the under 16s, under 18s, under 23s. We try and because we're not. It's not just a football. Then we're teaching them life skills. So how to, you know, look after your money, what things to look out for in a car finance deal, what are the different types of mortgages, you know, what's a pension, when can you get your pension, when can you start paying into your pension, all these things which I was fortunate enough to learn through being advised by a good advisor when I was younger. But some players won't even know this, like having career-ending insurance. Like you think your career is going to last forever.
No.
I've got news for you, mate.
It does. And you probably look at that and think, bloody hell, where did time go as well?
Yeah, I do. All the time. So again, you got to try to enjoy these moments. And yes, if you are earning loads of money, try and enjoy it, but it doesn't last forever. So you've got to do well to try and enjoy it, but also look after it.
Yeah. Do you miss the game?
I miss playing. Yeah.
It's funny. Everyone always says that I miss playing, but they think about training and all of that, and they don't miss that.
I love football. It wasn't always the case. I never really enjoyed football as a youngster. You know, like kids love football. Like my kids love football now. My youngest is 7.
Why don't you think you enjoyed it as a youngster?
I don't know. I just wasn't into it. I wasn't into it. You know, like kids now, they play from the age of 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Like, they love it. They can tell you every stat, I liked running around, but
you like being a kid, basically.
Yeah. I never really took football seriously until I left school. Until I left primary school, started secondary school.
Yeah.
And even then, I wasn't any good.
Yeah. No. I mean, you made a good career out of it, man, and not many at all can say that. So fair play to you. Do you still keep up to date with football now? Like, you watch football, like, and you're deep into it. What do you think of, you know, Arsenal in their current you know, predicament or whatever?
Okay, so I'm thinking about how many times I can say Arsenal's in a transition period. But I think I like the appointment of Arteta.
Yeah, I think it should have been done before, but you know.
Yeah, I think given time and a good budget, I think that's, in order to compete, I think you need a good budget, you need a good scouting system. I think they can do well. It's that same old, we still need, you know, some good, strong centre halves, I think.
Got that Saliba coming in, but even him, I think we need just a good, experienced one first and foremost. Just get that good experience in one where it's not a toss-up to see if he'll do well or not. You know, they just need to blast that money, man.
You need someone that you know they're going to come in, you know what you're going to get out of them every day. You know, he's consistent, he's organised. You need dare I say it, like a Sol Campbell or a Tony Adams.
Sol Campbell. So they don't make defenders like that anymore, though.
No, they don't.
They don't make defenders like that. Like, whenever they earmark, and no disrespect, but when I'm seeing people like Maguire going for 85 mil, and I know you can't really blame the price tag in it, but still, is that what is really like the best that's out there right now? Maguire. Because even the other day I put up a post on the counter attack Instagram, and I was just just praising up, hailing up Rio Ferdinand. And that's a defender to me. Do you get what I'm saying? But I don't know. If you were Arsenal manager, who would you go out there and buy in this current footballing world?
Yeah, there's so many things to consider. Like, how much money do I have?
I know Arsenal probably got like a 10.
We don't have money like other clubs, or we're not willing to spend money like other clubs.
Have you seen that Newcastle just been? I think they're going to get bought out.
Yeah, 300 million or something.
And that's another
club in the world.
Yeah, and that's another club that Arsenal are going to fall behind. That they're stressing me out, man. Flipping stressing me out. But yeah,
someone will come and buy Arsenal and invest heavily in it.
No way, no one's going to do that. That guy, they're making too much money for that guy. So that's never going to happen, man. But yeah, hope you've had fun on my podcast.
Yeah, no, it's been good, man. Good chat.
I really, we'll get you back on proper, like in the studio and everything once all this is done. And I know our listeners would love to, because it works better when you're in things. I can bounce off proper. Whereas now it's not the most ideal.
No, it's nice. It's been good.
It's better behind the screen. Do you do much media now?
Not really. No.
Is that a conscious thing?
Yeah, I'm not really into do. I'll do interviews and I've done a couple of podcasts, but yeah, I'm not really one for putting my face out there. I'd like to.
Yeah.
I like the grass.
Yeah. Do you know what's mad? Obviously, I've got a podcast, but I don't like doing a. Well, I like doing a podcast, but I don't like the whole media. I hate it. Ask Dad. Dad will tell you when he first saw the podcast, he couldn't believe it.
Really?
But I like putting good content out there.
Yeah.
Like good, meaningful content, and no disrespect, but there's a lot of football podcasts where it's coming from people who've never played the game, and and that's fine if you study the game and whatever. But I just like to just put, get people who have actually played the game and to talk about it, because it offers some different insight rather than he's rubbish. Okay, but why is he rubbish? Like, do you know what I mean? So thank you very much for coming on, man. I really.
No, my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. It's been good.
I really appreciate it, and thank you for watching the Bradley Johnson one as well, man.
Yeah, no, it's good. I've played against Bradley a couple of times, and we nearly could have been teammates, but I chose to go to Reading instead of Leeds.
Yeah, I was gonna say that must have been for Leeds. What's it like playing against him? I want to ban him.
He's good, man. He was very good. Good, strong left foot. We had some good battles. It's funny, I actually first remember seeing him down at A10.
Look at that.
And he's cool, man. He's a good guy.
Love that, man. Thank you for coming on again, man. And we'll definitely link up and chat. And
brilliant.
And hopefully you can get me Joby.
Joby, yeah?
Yeah, I messaged him, but I don't know. I don't think he ain't even ready yet. So we'll see. But yeah, love for coming on, man.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Thank you very much.